Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints, here with my UCL Fantasy Matchday 12 team selection. As always, if you're able to like, share and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Before we get into it, a quick check-in with how Matchday 11 went, and also just an update on some last-minute transfers that I made. And without further ado, let's get straight into it and have a quick look at the week before. So 66 points in the end. Captaincy fail with Lewandowski, unfortunately. And I unfortunately had to also make quite a few last minute changes. I'm not sure if they backfired or not, but I decided in the end I needed some sort of attacking Arsenal cover. So I brought in Trossard, paid off in dividends. I got rid of an additional Inter defender, and I brought in Rudiger just for the long haul, factoring in the probabilities in mind. Not having Kane was something I kind of regretted, albeit it wasn't in my final team selection because his form wasn't that great, and I thought it'd be a very close match against Bayer Leverkusen. And my plan was to bring him in for leg two, but again, he just kind of went against the grain and ultimately got a good haul. So fair play if you had Kane and other Bayern assets in your team for match day 11. Again, with the quadruple up with Barcelona, so Szczesny, Koundé, Rafinha, that in itself paid off, minus Lewandowski. Surprised, got Mohamed Salah is having the time of his life in FPL and the Premier League this season and got a blank, unfortunately, albeit it was against PSG. And then I took the risk of not bringing Trent Alexander-Arnold onto the pitch for the second match day and didn't work out ultimately. But on the whole, with the points that I had, I thought I'd be covered in red arrows, but in the end, a flurry of greens to my surprise. So I need to ultimately correct what went wrong in match day 11, and I think it's really straightforward with what I'm going to do. In fact, before I do that, just a quick reminder of the overall scores as well. So Liverpool have that 1-0 lead against PSG. So no doubt would want to play it safe and just get the job done in the return leg. Aston Villa 3-1 win. Same for them. Just they've got a good enough buffer to hopefully see it out. So possibly looking at a Liverpool Aston Villa matchup in the next round. Arsenal 7-1 winners. I think that's done and dusted. So barring a shock, and of course Arsenal have kind of ended their title challenge, as it were, this season with a 15-point buffer in the Premier League. So it is really Champions League or bust for them this season. And then Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, a tight match as expected, and that second leg will be fairly feisty. Then you got Inter against Feyenoord, again went by form, and no doubt Inter have a good opportunity to have that match up now, which is likely against Bayern Munich in the next round, unless Leverkusen do a stunning comeback. And then in the final set of matches, it's up for grabs with Dortmund and Lille in that second leg, and then Barcelona and Benfica, surprisingly only a 1-0 difference. You could say that's up for grabs as well, albeit Barcelona are the favourites. So with that said, I'm going to go straight into my team selection now for match day 12. And ultimately, I want to be mindful of the players that may not feature in the subsequent round. So I think that with Wirtz, of course, no doubt he could do an absolute number on Bayern in the next match, but I'm looking at the long haul now. I've got 3 free transfers available, so I will get rid of Florian Wirtz. I think the quadruple up with Barcelona is still good for the time being. And with the matchups, it is going to get trickier. So, I wouldn't want more Arsenal assets because they'll possibly have it'll be one of the Madrid teams in the next round. Aston Villa would potentially be against Liverpool unless PSG can basically get 2 goals back ultimately. There aren't any easy matches after this second leg. It's going to get trickier from here on in. I think the only, arguably, if Barcelona do progress, think even Dortmund's going to be a tough one for them. But what I'm looking to do for my team right now, so I've got Guirassy, so he blanked, and just looking at the percentages as well, I'm pretty certain Kane had a very high ownership as well. There he is, 30%. I'm surprised I didn't get any dark red arrows. No doubt many would have captained him as well in that second match day, albeit he didn't have form on his side. So Vert's 36% owned. He's got all to play for, but I kind of feel that the deficit is too big. So the options that are available to me, it is going to be Elise, if I can just find him here. Just seeing what the percentages are. Of course, Bellingham is back as well. So what I could potentially do is I could get Bellingham in, and then I'd want to get Harry Kane in, just looking at his actual price tag as well, 10.7 million. So I could potentially sell Mbappe, but then is that a sideways move perhaps? Not too sure about that. But I do want to get Harry Kane in if it's possible. It may not be for this particular round. I would have to shift around just to make it work ultimately, but that is a big miss in my team. But yeah, Bellingham, I think, attacking Real Madrid cover, but it's not done and dusted for them either for match day 12. I've got 2 frees available if I just stick with Verts out for Bellingham in. Of course, Jude Bellingham was suspended in the previous match. So goalkeepers, just confirm it by date as well, that Szczesny will start the first match, and then David Raya if needed for the second match. And I kind of feel the big miss here is Harry Kane. That is my worry at the moment. So I've got no attacking Bayern cover, so it might be that I look for a pathway. In fact, let's just get Bayern selected here. Just confirm it right now. Apply the filters. Looking at the ownership levels. Interestingly enough, there's more that own Musiala than own Elise, surprisingly. And I'm thinking, which player could I sell? I mean, Guirassy, could I make it work? I could probably sell Guirassy. Then again, it's all to play for in that second leg for Dortmund, so probably wouldn't want to sell him just yet. But I certainly wouldn't be captaining him anytime soon either. It's just temporarily. Just see what else we can do. Lewandowski, again, it's all to play for as well. Effectively with Vert, not that it's a dead rubber, but in many ways a 3-0 deficit. It's a very hard ask for Leverkusen in that second leg. So just looking at the options here, got Rudiger, who I'll keep, Koundé I'll keep, Schlotterbeck, Trent, who I will start this time around, and yeah, Ademi. All of these players, it's really hard to work out who I'd ultimately sell, because I've not got like 4 PSV players or got like 4 Leverkusen players, so it's a tough ask. I look at Trossard, and I think it's home to PSV. Again, Saka will be back eventually, but it'll take time for him to get to speed, no doubt. So I think for the time being, looking at the options that are available, I mean, with Lewandowski, yeah, I can't be selling him. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, just looking at my own players with Guirassy, 21% owned, Mbappe, 37% owned, and Lewandowski, yeah, high owned players ultimately. So yeah, just feel with Kane, he just lacked that bit of form. Didn't start, interestingly, on the weekend, came on as a sub. So there can't be many more match days where I wouldn't want Harry Kane in my team, as it were. So I ultimately need to get him in ASAP. So yeah, I mean, the goalkeeping situation is fairly locked in for me. Rudiger, I think he stays. Yeah, there's not much else I can do. What I'll do is I'll keep those 2 free transfers at hand in the event there are some, let's say, last minute injuries, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it ultimately. So let's review the transfers. And yeah, Vert's out. Unless he bangs in a hat trick, it goes to extra time. I'll be regretting it. But yeah, let's stick with Bellingham for Verts. Confirm it by date. So get Szczesny in. Only 4% owned, surprisingly, considering Bayern's pathway. I think many may have just hadn't realised he'd joined or just didn't give him credence ultimately. So Szczesny is a starting keeper for the Tuesday. Get Trent Alexander-Arnold in for Rudiger. Get in Rafinha for Trossard. And then Dumfries will come in for Schlotterbeck. So confirm that there. In terms of my captain for match day 11, I feel that willing to take that added bit of risk if needed, but Mohamed Salah, with the form that he's in, it's just crazy that his Champions League form hasn't been as consistent as his Premier League form. But look, they'll be at Anfield, want to lock in the win. It has to be Mohamed Salah for that first match day. And yeah, on the second day, options might be a bit trickier. So I really do hope that he scores, but got Mbappe or Bellingham really as the other options for the day after. So let's just lock that in. Confirm those moves. Do a famous super zoom in once again. So up top, Girassi, Mbappe, Lewandowski, Bellingham, Ademi, Rafinha, Mohamed Salah, and the back line of Szczesny, Alexander-Arnold, Dumfries, and Koundé. And I've got 2 free transfers in the bag, of course, and I've got Raya, Rudiger, Trossard, and Schlotterbeck to come in the event they're needed for the second match day. So there we have it. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Have I got the balance right? Have I got the balance wrong? Should I use those 2 free transfers now or just keep them in tow for the time being? No doubt there might be some last minute news that gets leaked. I kind of feel that I probably need some sort of attacking Aston Villa cover as well at some point, but it's really hard to choose which players to sell with the setup as it is right now. As always, if you're able to like, share, and subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Take care and all the best.